Okay, so this is the puppet making video. Things you'll need for this, for the puppets: newspapers. If you're in London, of course, you can get free newspapers. So I just pop to a train station and get as many that I need on the morning or the day before. I would say you need one per pupil. So newspaper, tape, masking tape or sellotape's fine. A pair of pliers, if you can get them, and paper clips. So the pliers are really useful for taking out the staples from the newspaper. Okay, that's probably the easiest way to start to use these sheets. I'd really recommend you find something to do this with. Now the basic kind of like puppet making or building technique you're going to need the pupils to be able to do is quite a simple thing, but it's how you kind of make strong structures out of newspaper. So what they're going to need to be able to do is roll tubes of newspaper. And the best way for them to start to practice this, and I would have them practice, just trying it out in little teams and teaching each other, is you basically do a fold first, like that, and then from there you just start to roll, okay? Now, being a grown-up, because I've practiced, I can do quite a neat one, but to be honest, pupils shouldn't find this too tricky. They just might need to practice it a couple of times until they start feeling confident, okay? And a little bit of tape. And there's a roll. Now I'm going to show you two puppets, a kind of basic puppet and a more complicated puppet. For the basic puppet you just need one of these to start off with. Right, so this is going to be a basic puppet. First thing you need to do is create some arms, and you're going to use this and some paper clips. Paper clips are really good for making the joints stay where you want them to stay, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, they're my paper clips. So for the simple puppet, what you need to do is fold these two bits down, like so. So you make like an N shape, okay? Pretty simple so far. You're folding those down like this, and then you use a paper clip to clip those in place, like so. This is going to form the shoulders of your puppet, and these are the arms coming down. Now to make these arms articulate as my arm would here, you need to make the fold, okay? So this is how you're going to end up with an arm that can sort of do stuff. Now to keep these folds in place, what I've found is that paper clips work really well as just a little way of keeping that fold where it needs to be. Also, you can talk to people about how your arms work. So arms don't, for example, fold that way, they fold that way. My arm does this, I can't, it doesn't really bend across that way. So they're the arms for your puppet. Alright, the next thing you need to do is make the body. So for that, and this is probably a simpler thing, what you need to do is just roll up 1, 2, 3 rolls like this. Okay, so that's quite a strong structure. Bit of tape. I'm using masking tape so you can see it. Sellotape is just as good. Okay, so that's going to be the body. These bits fit on like this. Tape it like that. Okay. So now we're starting to get a pretty simple looking puppet. These are the arms. You can move it around, make it wave. Hi. You can scratch. Okay, so that's the start of the puppet. Now what you're going to need to do is make a head. Now the head is a very simple thing to do. What you need to do is screw up a couple of balls of newspaper. 1. 2. Okay, pretty simple so far. Then, the third piece, you need to make it like a lollipop, okay? So you're doing this so it holds like that, give it a little twist. So you have that kind of shape. Then you need to put a bit of tape around this bit. Newspaper is actually pretty tough, so you shouldn't worry too much about kids ripping it. It's going to be quite hard for them to rip it. And of course, if they do rip it, it doesn't matter because newspaper is free, you can just get another piece. Right, okay, so this is pretty much your basic puppet. I'm just going to move my tripod up a little, so you can kind of see how this works. So the way this would work is you have your head here that you can start to make look around, and then you have your hands here. So you can just move around like that. Okay? Pretty simple. Pretty simple, okay? So that's the basic puppet. As you can see, there's no legs at the moment, but I don't think really at this point, if it's just one person acting things out, you don't normally really need legs. If they want to sit down, they can sit down, stand up again. If they're kneeling, they can kneel. Okay? So there you have it, basic puppet. Okay, so this is the instructions for a slightly more complicated puppet. This puppet will need 4 people to make the puppet move and walk and sort of like make gestures. So this is probably for further up school, years 3 to 6. But with clear instructions, they should be able to do it pretty easily. First thing you need to do is roll 4 long newspaper sticks like this. Okay, so just a little bit of tape, and there's 1 roll. So you need 4 of these. Okay, so I've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are going to be legs, 2 legs, and these are going to be for the arms. So legs and arms are done. Next thing you need to do is make the body shape. This is pretty simple. 1, 2, 3, 4 rolls of 4 balls of newspaper. These go into the middle of 1 sheet of newspaper, and then what you're going to do is make a little parcel of these. So you've got that wrapping fish and chips like that. Bit of tape. Again, I'm using masking tape so you can see it. Sellotape is just as good. These bits fold over here. This bit folds over here. Okay, I'm kind of doing it as if I'm a kid, so I'm not being super professional, I'm just doing it as kids would. Right, so that's the body shape. Legs would be here, arms here, and then you need to make the head. So the head, and again this is all from 1 newspaper, 1 Evening Standard, so 1 per pupil is definitely enough, because this is going to be operated by 4 pupils. So for the head, I do about 3 kind of overlapping, so that's going over the top of the next one. 3 sheets, bit of tape, okay, that's kind of like head shaped. And then to produce the handle, because you need a handle for the head, so you can really articulate and move it, what you're going to need to do then, like the simple puppet, is that. Okay? So you've got something to hold on to at the back of it to articulate how it moves and looks. A little bit of tape here, a little bit of tape here. Okay, so now we've got body, head, arms, legs. To attach the legs, you need to attach them at the side here. That's how our hips join to our legs. We have sockets at the side, not at the bottom, at the side, okay? You want to get this sort of like atomically correct. You can ask the pupils to check where do your legs fit, and they should be able to feel the joints and the balls where they fit. They don't fit underneath here, they fit at the side. So we'll attach these at the side, like so. This one here. Like so. To make the joints, similar to how we did it with the simple puppet, and again you can talk to pupils about how your legs join. They should be able to work out that you have knee joints around about the middle. So a little bit of a fold, equal places, and you've got your knees. Paperclip helps keep that joint in the right place. So there are the legs. Okay, then for the arms, again you want this to happen kind of anatomically correctly. So these arms, as you can see, are very long at the moment. So we're going to basically use that to our advantage. These connect at the top, like your shoulders do. Okay, your arms don't start here, they start up here. So we can connect these at the top, like this. Okay, now as you can see, these are far too long. So what we're going to do, first of all, your hands, when you hold them by the side of your body in real life, stop just below your hips. They stop around about here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to fold these bits back like that to try and get the length around about correct. So that's about right for the length of your hands. To make sure these stay like this, you're going to do a clip like this. So not on the single bit, but on both bits you clip it like that. So it holds it like that. Okay? This one as well. Same thing, clip like this. So it holds like that. And then find the elbow joints, like so. A clip to clip those as well, so you know where the joint is and it stays there. Alright, now the great thing about these arms is, and I'm just going to move my camera up a little so I can properly show you this. The great thing about these arms is that you've got a puppet. You can use this as your kind of movement, okay? So you can start to have them do all sorts of things. Let me show you on this one as well. So actually, it works in a much more kind of professional puppet way. So they can be articulating things, they can point over here, they can point down, they can itch. And it all works with these as your puppet handles. Okay, then you add the head, and that's just held. You just hold this at the top. So that's going to take another child to hold it, and they can start to articulate this. So eventually you have kind of, it's difficult for me to do on my own, you can have a puppet that can move, it can wave, it can do all sorts of things. And while that's happening, another child is articulating the head, looking down, looking up, looking sideways, shaking, looking surprised, things like that. And then also down at the bottom you've got another operative walking the legs. Okay, so these legs are really easy to sort of make move and walk along. So that is your more complex finished puppet.